Welcome back to Flat Tires and Dead Barrage. Welcome back to Flat Tire and Dead Barrage. Welcome back to Flat Tires and Dead Batteries Garage. I'm Justin, your host. This is a part 2 to the floor pan build that we're doing in the 71 Pontiac Firebird. In this part, we will be focusing on the tail pan section and the inner trunk extension pieces. So here's what we're working with. As you can see, I've mentioned in the last video, part 1, that I do have the inner wheelhouse panels and pieces. That's something we're going to focus on when we go and do the quarter panels. So I'm more than likely not going to weld up in these areas. I'm still debating about maybe putting a couple tack welds in. But here, this is the area we're mostly going to focus on. It's through here. Unfortunately, I did not have the hole puncher tool at the time when I lined this floor panel up. So I figured since I'm going to be doing quarter panels, I'll more than likely probably do these extension pieces as well when I get to it. So for now, we're just going to throw some welds up here to make it easier to cut back out in the future. Over here, get a lot of this out of the way. Sorry for the noise. I do have my heater on. It is getting cold again. Perks of living in the north. Over here, you can see this is actually bowed down. I don't know if when this was sitting as in the shell, if something heavy hit this corner and just pushed it down. But we're gonna throw a couple tacks into here, and then take a jack and a block of wood or something and try and push this back level. And then I have over here, sorry for the rapid camera movement over here, it's kind of the same deal. This is bent upwards, uppy duppies. We're gonna shove it down. Everything is lined up pretty much where it's got to be. I do have to finish cutting out this section of the old tail panel. As you can see, it's all in here. But we'll get to that. We're going to do all that now. All right, here we are. We got the section out. You can tell it didn't come out nicely. That's all part of the quarter, I believe. So we'll see what happens. But here's the piece. It's hard to reach area, so like I said, I air chiseled most of it out. And then this channel, this channel is what was really giving me a hard time. Now, unfortunately, when I was cutting this tail pan out originally, the first time, I didn't know it was channeled in there like that, so I have to find that piece. And we're gonna go on a journey together because it's not on the tail panel here, so it might be in my scrap pile outside. Let's go find out. So here you can see what's left of the shell that I had. The rockers and roof skin. I don't know if I still have that chunk or not. That ain't it. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's still on this. Maybe. Let me get you situated so I can get this moved. There. Now that you're sitting in a better spot, I'm bleeding. Let me. Here's what's left. This is the old floor pan that was in the 71. As you can see, maybe. Here's where some of the frame rails were at. And then, you know, that's supposed to be a full piece along with this side. And it's not existing. Is this... That's part of the old tail panel, but I don't see my piece that I need. That's not good. Ow. Huh. Oh, God. It's heavy, sharp, rusty. Just set that down there. Maybe it's in there. That's a good example. This right here was the torque box. This is where the front half of the leaf spring bolts to and holds the rear end in place. As you can see, there's nothing here. This is the remainder of the frame rails off the back panel. So yeah, it's just kind of some context clues on why I did what I did. Floor brace, floor, more floor. I don't think my my piece that I'm looking for is out here. Let's get that out of the way. Tetanus for everybody. Oh, this isn't good. Where is it at? I don't know. Let's go back in the garage. It's cold out here. It's cold and windy. That piece has got to be around here somewhere. I just don't know exactly where. Spend 20 minutes looking for it. It's not good content, right? Nobody wants to watch someone dig through a bunch of scrap. I'm going to cut the camera and I'm going to look for this for a minute. We'll be back. I have good news. I have found it, buried amongst the many piles of scrap over here. This little section, I don't know, I don't have a screen on the front of my phone camera, so it's hard to tell if I actually got this in angle or not. But this section here is what I'm after. We're gonna chisel this out and probably try and weld that back in place while we have access to everything. So, rock and roll. Hey, so apparently I forgot to hit record, but we did get the little channel piece off without destroying it too much. There wasn't really much effort. It just was held on with one little tack weld that kind of just broke as we twisted on it. So we're going to spend some time getting it straightened up and get it welded back in the car. So All right, now let's go get this piece out. Oh, I dropped it. Where'd it go? Okay. So, like I said, I'm just gonna pretty much put this back in the vise and just kind of twist on it, bend it a little bit, just to kind of get it back into its shape. Now, I mentioned this when I wasn't recording, even though I thought I was. Still learning, still figuring this out. But since the first video, I have upgraded my equipment some. Hopefully you've noticed that I now have better audio when it comes to me talking, and I no longer sound like I'm a mile away. That's because of the new microphones that I bought very cheaply off of Amazon. And then also no longer being held up by a clamp and a broomstick, the camera itself is on a mounted tripod. Look at that. I've upgraded. Just trying to figure all of this out as we go. Can I get this off? Huzzah. The first video seemed like I got some pretty well positivity off of it, which I was excited to see. I'm not really a people person. I spend a lot of my time alone. But I do what I can to try and help others out when asked. And just normally don't get the same treatment. But, you know, it's whatever. Let's see if we can straighten this out just a wee bit more. Crush, crush, crush. It's a rounded piece, so it's weird. That didn't do us any favors. What did I do with my other pliers I had? Don't drop it. I don't know how much of this is actually going to be in the video, but it's whatever. I had some people tell me that they liked my random spewing of words, that it felt like real being in the shop with somebody, which that's all I could ever really ask for. We're not high dollar over here. I pretty much live paycheck to paycheck. Previous video I mentioned that this car is pretty much in the condition that I can afford them in, being as rusty as it is. Even then I still paid a pretty good chunk. I spent my entire Christmas bonus on this car and some of my tax return. And now, a year later, I'm finally building it. Yeah, a year later. Alright, cool. We'll run this through the bench grinder and line it up, get a tack in it just so it's kind of sitting in place. Who knows? Stuff. Safety glasses, everyone. They save your eyes. That nice and shiny. Is that a good angle for you? Does it make me look pretty? Yep. So this is where this piece is going to go. sits in there like that. Got a little bit of cleaning up to do. We'll clean up these edges and straighten this back out from where I twisted it. Whoops. But, yep. Piece by piece. I'm being creeped up on. Get this edge straightened out. And we'll do our best to clean up the surface area for a weld. Alright, what is this little piece here? Ow. Pinched my fingers. I don't know if you saw that. What is this piece? Does this even belong here? I mean, it's there. It's gonna go bye-bye. See? Just trying to rebuild this corner so that we can get our piece back in. So again, we have very minimal tools. We don't have high dollar sheet metal stuff. Yeah. Where did I put my piece? Where'd it go? It's the shiniest thing. It's blending with all the wrenches. Do you see it anywhere? Is it in my pocket? No. Oh man. Where'd it go? It's right there. It was right there the whole time. Yeah. There's our piece back in its place. We'll get this edge cleaned up with some safety glasses, and I hate this thing. Ow. I hate them wire wheels. You hit them just right and they explode, especially the cheap ones from Harbor Freight, the only ones I can afford. And they stick you in the finger and in the crotch. And I'm sure there's some down on my legs. I hate them things. But we got our edge cleaned up for the most part. I tried getting the bottom of it, but whatever. It's good enough for me. I'm just trying to get this where it's not gonna droop or fall. Maybe I'll get a magnet. Maybe a magnet will work. I could just weld the magnet to it. That'd be fun. Look, a magnet. Hooray. Oh yeah, that'll work. Everything looks like it should be where it's at. Oh, and I messed it all up. Put finger in it. Just that little chunk of tack weld, or spot weld, the old spot weld, is fighting me right now. That's about all that's the issue. I mean, I'm part of the issue, but what are you gonna do? You know? Just keep being a problem to society. Eh, it's good enough. We'll get a tack weld in it and we'll hold it in place. If I can get my gas turned on.
Is this something you need to?
Huh? No, that's what I cut that piece off of. Huh? They seen it.
Oh, they did see it?
Now they really saw it. What do I need? I need my lead and my ground.
Marbles.
Huh?
You need some marbles.
No, those are gone.
Lost words.
Unfortunately, no one can probably hear you talk. This is. Oh, Lord. Alright, let's get something put together. Right. We'll pretend that didn't happen. Nobody saw anything. Movie magic. Am I going to do it again? Probably. Well, there it is. It's one piece again. It's a little bit of a raise here, but it's level. It's even. On the inside, I don't have the proper tools to apparently focus. I don't have the proper tools to get into the corner of this channel, so I'm hoping when we put the new tail panel on, it slides in there and just kind of covers all that up. But if not, we'll figure it out. But yeah. It's, again, I'm not the best welder, but I make do. We get things done, one way or another. going to try and take these vice grips and jam them in this bumper brace and just see. Oh, well, it is working a little bit. Just will turn it up though. It's moved it quite a bit. How can I get it to stay though? I don't know. I think that's actually all it's gonna move. Kind of matching the other side now, because it's sitting flat on the frame rail now. Can't imagine that's how that goes, but maybe. Down just a bit more. I think that does have to come down still. Oh, that side don't move at all. There goes the other microphone. Well, let's get the panel and we'll slap it up in place temporarily. Just kind of a fitment. How's this inner piece? I have this in here. Inner piece set. Maybe that does just sit up there like that. I think it does. Because then it gives this something to pinch weld into. I don't know. There wasn't really any of this here when I cut it out. In my mind, I would think this has to go flush all the way across. What about this whole panel? Fries are done. Bumper holes lining up. Kind of. They kind of line up. They line up as much as a bunch of aftermarket parts and rusty parts will. No, they don't line up. That does still have to come down. And again, this is pushed in too far too. For some reason, it's got a little bow to it. Well, there it is. There's a cheap mock-up. I don't know. It's getting late. Come back to this tomorrow. Oh, it's day 2 of doing the tail panel. Getting a really late start on it today. But we're here. We're getting it done. Maybe. Throw that in there. We've got a lot of prep work to do up in these areas here. Not that you can see it. You're way over there. You've seen it. I've seen it. We all seen it. And we still gotta bend these down. But I think we've talked enough in this video, don't you? Maybe we should just do some work for once. So. Well, our camera died, so while it was charging, I did quite a bit of prep work and some fitment of the inner tail panel while the camera was charging to get these corners back down. If you saw, I'm not sure if I'm including it, but all I did was took that ratchet strap and strapped it down to the Oldsmobile big block here, and we just hooked it in here and just pulled it down, and seems to be holding. Again, the only reason I'm really welding it like this rather than on the pinch weld down below is so later when I go to do the quarters, I can just run the grinder through here and just cut those welds back out and then redo this whole process. But yeah, we're gonna spend some more time getting this up into place. I'll probably do a lot of that off camera just so it's getting done. I'm running out of time. As you can see, I got where I want all my spot welds to be, all these little white dots, and then obviously where my self-tap screws are at. I'm using those as kind of like a lineup for final fitment type things. This is in no way, shape, or form the correct way to do any of this. I was never taught anything. This is just purely how I'm going about it. Drilled my 2 holes for the inside frame rails and grinded the back sides out so we can get all of that welded in. Now, one thing I want to show you is this tool right here is very helpful. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but this top end here will give you, come on, focus. You see, it'll give you a nice little like 1/2 inch crimp. So you can do like a panel tuck. And then this end here, whenever it focuses, does little punches for spot welds. I'm going to try and show you how it works. I love this thing, borrowing it from work. This is goofy to do one-handed, but basically you just get your panel put in there, squeeze the trigger, and see how it closed up. Let go, and you got a nice little hole for spot welds. So I'm gonna get all of them holes punched out, and I'm gonna grind both sides of this. I do not have weld-through primer or anything like that. I don't even know if that stuff actually works, but so we're just gonna roll with it. All right, we're gonna grab our panel here and fit it up again. This, if I like how it sits in here, then we're just gonna roll with it. He said, I was never taught any of this, so you know, you got something inspirational to say, not inspirational, helpful. You know, if this is a field that you have been in, and what everything that I'm doing is just making you hurl, let me know in the comments. Because again, most of this is just me guessing. When I cut this car apart back here, most of this was all just rust and Bondo. There wasn't anything really here. So trying to figure out what goes where is kind of a hit and miss right now, for me at least. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I never want to be perfect. I just want to drive the car. You know? We're gonna crawl under here and we're gonna see how our fitment is against the frame rails. Oh yeah, that's better than it was earlier. Oh yeah. And cool, nice and tight. I can pinch that one in. That one's tight. And we do on our holes. We're all right. I think we're gonna call this good. I think this is gonna be where it lives. Oh. Yep. I think this is where it's gonna live now, guys. Oh. Cool. Well, here we are. It's by no means perfect, but it's serving its purpose. I still have some more tack welding to do, but I'm getting to that point where I'm starting to get frustrated with it and I'm burning myself and losing things. So I think it's time to call it a quits. Didn't get quite as far as I wanted to, but some progress is better than no progress. That's going to do it for today's episode. I appreciate all of you that have stayed for this feature-length film that I'm apparently putting together. Sometimes you just got to know when to stop. I'm getting frustrated and starting to throw my tools around. It's not good. So we're just going to quit for the day. I didn't get the progress that I wanted, but we did get some of the patches put in and fixed, and we got the inner tail panel is put in, and it's in its place. The outer tail panel, I may just do that off camera just to get it knocked out and done. And then hopefully by next week, we will be putting the rear end in and getting this set down on all fours and seeing how crooked it really is. I'm not a welder. But that's going to do it for today. I appreciate every one of you for tuning in. And if you could do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe, it keeps me motivated in doing this. And it's free for you. Full movie, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, cool thing to say, I guess, is talking about your projects won't finish your projects. So see you next week.